the cry of the third Aethyr, which is called ZOM. There is an angry light in the stone. Now it is become clear. In the center is that minute point of light, which is the true sun, and in the circumference is the emerald snake. And joining them are the rays, which are plumes of Ma'at. And because the distance is infinite, therefore are they parallel from the circumference, although they diverge from the center. In all this is no voice and no motion. And yet it seems that the great snake feedeth upon the plumes of truth as upon itself, so that it contracteth, but ever so little as it contracteth. Without it gloweth the golden rim, which is that minute point in the center. And all this is the sigil of the Aethyr, gold and azure and green. Yet also these are the severities. It is only in the first three Aethers that we find the pure essence, for all the other Aethers are but as Malkuth to complete these three triads, as hath before been said. And this being the second reflection, therefore is the palace of 280 judgments. For all these paths are in the course of the flaming sword from the side of severity. And the other two paths are Zane, which is a sword, and Shin, which is a tooth. These are then the 5 severities, which are 280. All this is communicated to the seer interiorly, and the eye of his benignancy is closed, yet it not be opened upon the Aethyr, lest the severities be mitigated and the house fall. Shall not the house fall and the dragon sink? Verily all things have been swallowed up in destruction, and chaos hath opened his jaws and crushed the universe, as a bacchanal crusheth a grape between her teeth. Shall not destruction swallow up destruction, and annihilation confound annihilation? 22 are the mansions of the house of my father. But there cometh an ox that shall set his forehead against the house, and it shall fall. For all these things are the toys of the magician, and the maker of illusions, that beareth the understanding from the crown. O thou that hast beheld the city of the pyramids, how shouldest thou behold the house of the juggler? For he is wisdom, and by wisdom hath he made the worlds, and from that wisdom issue judgments 70 by 4, that are the 4 eyes of the double-headed one, that are the 4 devils, Satan, Lucifer, Leviathan, Belial, that are the great princes of the evil of the world. And Satan is worshipped by men under the name of Jesus, and Lucifer is worshipped by men under the name of Brahma, and Leviathan is worshipped by men under the name of Allah, and Belial is worshipped by men under the name of Buddha. Moreover, there is Mary, a blasphemy against Babylon, for she hath shut herself up, and therefore is she the queen of all those wicked devils that walk upon the earth, those that art sawest, even as little black specks that stained the heaven of Eureka, and these are the excrements of Choronzon, and for this is Babylon under the power of the magician, that she hath submitted herself unto the work, and she guardeth the abyss, and in her is the perfect purity of that which is above, yet she is sent as the Redeemer to them that are below. For there is no other way into the supernal mystery but through her and the beast on which she rideth. And the magician is set beyond her to deceive the brothers of blackness, lest they should make unto themselves a crown. For if there were 2 crowns, then should Yggdrasil, that ancient tree, be cast out into the abyss, uprooted and cast down into the outermost abyss. And the Arcanian, which is in the Adratum, should be profaned, and the ark should be touched, and the lodge spied upon by them that are not masters, and the bread of the sacrament should be the dung of Choronzon, and the wine of the sacrament should be the water of Choronzon, and the incense should be dispersion, and the fire upon the altar should be hate. But lift up thyself, stand, play the man, for behold, there shall be revealed unto thee the great terror, the thing of awe that hath no name. And this is the mystery that I declare unto thee, that from the crown itself spring the three great delusions. Aleph is madness, and Beth is falsehood, and Gimel is glamour. And these three be greater than all, for they are beyond the words that I speak unto thee. How much more, therefore, are they beyond the words that thou transmittest unto men? Behold, the veil of the Aethyr sundereth and is torn, like a sail by the breath of the tempest, and thou shalt see him as from afar off. This is that which is written, confound her understanding with darkness. For thou canst not speak this thing. It is the figure of the magus of the O.T.O. In his right arm the torch of the flames blazing upwards, in his left the cup of the poison, a cataract into hell, and upon his head the evil talisman, blasphemy and blasphemy and blasphemy, in the form of a circle, that is the greatest blasphemy of all. On his feet hath he the scythe and sword and sickle, dagger, knife, every sharp thing, a millionfold, and all in one. And before him is the table that is a table of wickedness, the 42-fold table. This table is connected with the 42 assessors of the dead, for they are the accusers whom the soul must buffer, and with the 42-fold name of God. For this is the mystery of iniquity, that there was ever a beginning at all. And this magus casteth forth by the might of his 4 weapons, veil after veil, 1,000 shining colors, rippling and tearing the ether, so that it is like jagged saws, or like broken teeth in the face of a young girl, or like disruption or madness. There is a horrible grinding sound, maddening. This is the mill in which the universe substance, which is ether, was ground down into matter. The seer prayeth that a cloud may come between him and the sun, so that he may shut out the terror of the vision, and he is afire. He is terribly athirst, and no help can come to him, for the shrew stone blazeth ever with the fury and the torment and the blackness and the stench of human flesh. The bowels of little children are torn out and thrust into his mouth, and poison is dropped into his eyes. And Lilith, a black monkey crawling with filth, running with open sores, an eye torn out, eaten of worms, her teeth rotten, her nose eaten away, her mouth a putrid mass of green slime, her dugs dripping and cancerous, clings to him, kisses him. There is a mocking voice. Thou art become immortal. Thou wouldest look upon the face of the magician, and thou hast not beheld him because of his magic veils. Thus art all they fallen into the power of Lilith, who hath dared to look upon his face. The shrew stone is all black and corrupt. O filth, filth, filth! And this is her great blasphemy, that she hath taken the name of the first Aethyr, and bound it on her brow, and added thereunto the shameless yod and the O.T.O for the sign of the cross. She it is that squatteth upon the crucifix for the nastiest of her pleasure, so that they that worship Christ suck up her filth upon their tongues, and therefore their breath stink. I was saved from that horror by a black shining triangle with apex upwards, that came upon the face of the sun. And now the shrew stone is all clear and beautiful again, the pure pale gold of a fair maiden's hair, and the green of her girdle, and the deep, soft blue of her eyes. In this the gold is Aethyr, the blue is Hakma, the green is Bina. Thus she appeareth in the Aethyr, adorned with flowers and gems. It seems that she hath incarnated herself upon earth, and that she will appear manifest in a certain office in the temple. I have seen some pictures like her face. I cannot think what pictures. It is a piquant face with smiling eyes and lips. The ears are small and pink, and the complexion is fair. but not transparent, not as fair as one would expect from the hair and the eyes. It is rather an impudent face, rather small, very pretty, the nose very slightly less than straight, well proportioned, rather large nostrils, full of vitality, the whole thing. Not very tall, rather slim and graceful, a good dancer. There is another girl behind her, with sparkling eyes, mischievous, a smile showing beautiful white teeth, an ideal Spanish girl, but fair, very vivacious. Only her head is visible, and now it is veiled by a black sun, casting forth dull rays of black and gold. Then the disk of the sun is a pair of balances, held steady, and twined about the central pole of the balance is the little green poisonous snake, with a long forked tongue rapidly darting. And the angel that hath spoken with me before saith to me, the eye of his benignance is opened, therefore veileth he thine eyes from the vision. Manfully hast thou endured, yet hast thou been man. Thou hast not endured, and hast thou been wholly that which thou art, thou shouldest have been caught up into the full vision that is unspeakable for horror, and thou shouldest have beheld the face of the magician that thou hast not been able to behold, of him from whom issue forth the severities that are upon Malkuth, and his name is Misericordia Dei. And because he is the Dryad, thou mayest yet understand in two ways. Of the first way, the mercy of God is that mercy which Jehovah showed to the Amalekites. And the second way is utterly beyond thine understanding, for it is the upright, and thou knowest not but the averse, until wisdom shall inform thine understanding, and upon the base of the ultimate triangle arise the smooth point. Veil therefore thine eyes, for that thou canst not master the Aethyr, unless thine mystery match its mystery. Seal up thy mouth also, for thou canst not master the voice of the Aethyr, save only by silence. And thou shalt give the sign of the mother for Babylon is thy fortress against the iniquities of the abyss, of the iniquities of that which bindeth her unto the crown, and beareth her from the crown. For not until thou art made one with chaos canst thou begin that last, that most terrible projection, the threefold regiment which alone constitutes the great work. For Choronzon is as it were the shell or excrement of these three paths, and therefore is his head raised unto Da'ath, and therefore have the Black Brotherhood declared him to be the child of wisdom and understanding, who is but the bastard of the swastika. And this is that which is written in the Holy Cabal concerning the whirlpool and the Leviathan and the great stone. Thus long have I talked with thee in bidding thee depart, that the memory of the Aethyr might be dulled. For hast thou come back suddenly into thy mortal frame, thou hast fallen into madness or death. For the vision is not such that any may endure it. But now thy sense is dull, and the shrew stone is but a stone. Therefore awake, and give secretly and apart the sign of the Mother, and call 4 times upon the name of Chaos, that is the fourfold word that is equal to her sevenfold word, and then shalt thou purify thyself and return into the world. So I did that which was commanded me and returned. December 17th, 1909, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.